Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Spine Safe Mat Pilates. So today we're going to have no props. The props will be optional. If I point out a prop from time to time, it's not required. It's just something that can, enhance the exercise. Okay, so we'll begin laying down on our backs. So we'll go ahead and take, lay down on one side and then flip over. If you feel like your neck is straining, or your back bending in your neck, then just place a little pillow under your head. If that's not your case, just go ahead and make sure the back of your neck is long. Pull your shoulder blades down your back, and your knees are bent and your feet are flat on the mat so that we can kind of press our shoulders back into the mat, pull our bellies in softly, and lift our hips. So small lift for someone who has bone density loss, osteopenia, porosis, okay, and the larger lift if that's not the case, and then we'll roll on down. So let's do this another 3 times. Just breathe with your movement. So if you inhale to lift and exhale and roll down, you might find that it's giving you a little bit of an opportunity to lengthen your spine. So we'll just keep moving at the pace of our own breath. Okay, and then one more. Perfect. We'll walk our shoulders underneath us. Place your finger pads on your belly with your hands spread wide apart. And then exhale, pull into belly, pull up your pelvic floor lightly, and then bring your right leg in a little bit more than 90 degrees, like closer than 90 degrees. And then bring your left leg up. Bring your right leg down, bring your left leg down. So now we'll start with the left. Left up, right up, left down, left down. And what we're feeling as we continue repeating this pattern, switching sides every time, is whether we're able to stabilize the movement of our legs with our abdominals. Okay, so if you feel like there's a lot of movement going on that you're not able to control yet, then you go ahead and just start marching instead. Okay, so that would be always one foot on the floor. And if you feel like this up, up, down, down exercise is a nice little warm up for you, but you can do a little bit more, go ahead and bring both legs up to tabletop and begin doing single leg toe taps. So the thigh moves away from the body here, and you can feel that your abdominals are working to establish a held position in the torso. So a stable position in the torso, and the floor is not a goal. So let's just do one more on each side. Then bring your knees in, take your knees into your hands, and take your knees around in mirror image circles. So we're just stirring our femur bones in the hip sockets right now. You can have a little bit of rocking in the pelvis. That's okay. That feels good. And then we'll go ahead and go the other direction. Perfect. Let's go ahead and hug our knees in, take a breath, and then bring your feet down to the mat. Beautiful job. So now reach long with your arms and then lift your arms up off the mat about 3 inches and start to pretend like you're patting water. Both arms are moving the same. So we're patting down and up at the same time with both arms. And we'll have a breath pattern that's inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see, even with the feet down and the head down, we can still do our 100 exercise. So if you need more, if you want more, you could bring your legs into tabletop. And if you do not have osteopenia or porosis, you could nod your chin and come up. And then if you need more than that, you could extend one or both legs and inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. The height of the legs will change the work in the abdominals. So straight up toward the ceiling will be a little bit easier, and lower down will be a little bit more challenging. Okay. So it's important to pick a place that you feel is your challenge point where you still have control without strain. And one more inhale. And one more exhale, and then we'll go ahead and bring our knees in again. And this time, hold your knees in both hands and move in a circle around the sacrum. And let's go the other direction. Perfect. And just hug knees in, take a breath, and then we'll slide our feet back down to the mat. And now this time, let's go ahead and see if it's okay to extend both legs long. If this does not feel okay to you, keep one knee bent, okay? You're okay here. We'll go ahead and place our hands down on the mat beside us, shoulders are down, and then bring one leg up toward the ceiling and the other leg presses down toward the mat. So we'll bring the long leg, the non-mat leg down, and then take it out to the side, swing it around and back up again. So this is single leg circles. And if we do not cross the midline of our body, it's safe for most hip replacements. I can't say all because I don't know everybody in the whole universe that's ever had a hip replacement. But anyway, and 4 and 5. And this is actually a place where if there's any popping, let's change directions, any popping or clicking in the hip joint, to take a piece of TheraBand around the sole of the foot and hold onto the leg to support the leg is a lovely idea. So we're on our second direction, and 4 and 5. Beautiful job. Now take your knee of the leg that was just working and take it around in passive circles again, just about 3 in each direction. So every opportunity we get, we can nourish our joints by doing a little bit of passive movement in between the work. And then we'll go ahead and slide that leg out, pull into belly, lift the other leg. Try to keep your legs straight, press into the mat, and bring your leg down and swing it around. So we'll do 5 in each direction. Make sure you're pressing your leg down into the mat. And again, if it doesn't feel comfortable to have your mat leg long, you could bend it and just have your foot on the mat instead of your whole leg. And one more this direction. We're looking to see how stable we can stay in our pelvis. So we're using our abdominals and our breath. 3 and 4 and 5. And go ahead and bend your knee and then take your knee around in those passive circles. 3 in each direction. Good. Then we'll gather our knees into our chest again. And let's go ahead and take our right hand to the top of our left shin, left hand outside left ankle. Extend your right leg long. Again, if you don't have bone density loss or disc issues, you can go ahead and roll your head, neck, and shoulders up, round your arms, and then switch the leg you're holding, switch the hand placement. So it's always outside hand on the outside ankle. And we switch and switch and switch and switch and breathe and breathe. Very good. One more on each side. And we'll come on in, hold both shins into your hands, rounded elbows, pull into belly. Okay, and then we'll go into our double leg stretch. So inhale, both arms come to a relative overhead, both legs lengthen. You can point them up toward the ceiling, and then circle your arms around as you bend your knees and capture your shins again. Inhale, extend, exhale, hug. Inhale, extend, exhale, hug. 2 more. Good. Now just hold your knees in your hands and take your knees around again and just massage the edges of the sacrum. 3 times in each direction. Last one. Beautiful job. So now we're going to go ahead, and if I had a ball, I'd place it in between my thighs right now. So that would be a nice thing to do. Okay, if you have a small ball, and take your knees over to one side and give yourself a little bit of a stretch. Take a breath Exhale, pull into your abdominals and take your knees back through center. Inhale off to the other side. And exhale for abdominal strength. Good. And we'll inhale back to the first side. So you feel a little stretch in your chest and shoulder on the side that you're rolling your knees away from. And last side. And exhale. Very nice. So we'll bring our arms back in beside us, down onto the mat. And exhale, bring your legs up into a close tabletop and extend your legs up toward the ceiling. So if this feels like it's going to be a little more work than you bargained for, you can place your hands underneath your sacrum for some support. And then we'll take our legs around in a circle, one time, one direction. And then change directions with the circle. So this is a corkscrew prep or corkscrew one. And every time we make the circle with both legs going in the same direction, we stop and we change directions. So we can feel that we're using our oblique abdominals. We're breathing. Okay, let's just do one more in each direction. And our range of movement is determined by just our ability to keep ourselves stable, keep our shoulders down on the mat. And then we'll go ahead and just bring our knees in and bring our feet down. And shoulders are down on the mat again. Take a breath. Exhale, pull into belly, pull up your pelvic floor, and lift your hips using your glutes. Good. And then we'll lower back down again. We'll do 2 more bridges here. Lift and lower. Good. And lift and lower. Very nice. And then we'll go ahead and lift up and stay up. Perfect. Now let's shift from side to side. And if you're not sure if your hips are dipping, go ahead and place your fingers on your hip points and just shift from side to side. So you can feel one buttock muscle engaging more than the other. So do a lateral shift, a little lateral translation here, kind of like a typewriter. And if you don't know what that is, you can email me after class and ask. And one more on each side. Good. And then we're going to come back to center. And now let's go ahead and dip one hip down and the other hip rises. So now we're rotating. Okay, that's it. So as we rotate our hips, very good. This is more like a walking pattern in a way, except our shoulders aren't really moving. Okay, good. Let's come back to center and let's lower on down. Perfect job. Okay, now let's take our left leg in both hands behind the thigh. And let's hold on just as high as we can without rounding. Okay, so that might be pretty low for some of us. Okay, elbows are wide. If you do not have bone density loss, you can roll your head, neck, and shoulders up. And if you do, keep your head down. Now we'll extend the other leg. And then we're going to pull our leg with our hands and push our leg into our hands. Keep both legs straight. Take a breath. Exhale, switch. And pull and push and switch. Pull and push, switch. Okay, so we'll do this about 8 sets. And 3. And keep breathing. 4. 4. The height of your leg in the room again is determined by your ability to keep your body steady. Okay, and keep your neck out of strain. Good. And one more on each side. And we'll leave it at our sides and fold your knees in. Take your knees around in mirror image circles. Just 3 in each direction. Perfect. We'll hug our knees in and then place our feet back down on the mat. Now let's take our hands behind the base of our skull and interlace our fingertips or our fingers. So we've got kind of a nice support for the head, and you can use your heel of your hands to maybe lengthen the back of your neck. Okay, and then we'll take a breath, exhale, bring your right leg up into a close tabletop and then rotate your heart towards your right leg. Come back to center with your torso, lower the leg. Exhale, lift the left leg, rotate toward the left leg, and then come back down. So you see we have a crisscross variation that can be completely spine safe, head down, adding in the rotation. So we have the basic principles of the movement are happening. And if you need more, of course, you could bring your legs up to tabletop, rotate toward the bent leg as the other one extends, and come back in. And if bone density is not your issue, you can come up and go into full crisscross. Beautiful. I like to pause at the end of the movement so I can really feel the engagement of the abdominals and also feel that I'm using my mat for feedback. So as I go to one side, there's one shoulder blade and two hip bones and back that are pressing into the mat. Okay, and we'll just do one more on each side. And then come on down to center, open your arms out, ankles together, knees together, or use your ball and go into a little rotation stretch in the lower body. So this time, if you want to get a little bit deeper stretch on the lateral leg here, you could extend the leg that's on top. Okay. And that may give you a little bit more sensation in the IT band area. One more breath. And then we'll bend the top knee, come back through center, go to the other side. And if you need more sensation, you go ahead and extend the top leg. Now the bottom leg you're using for support here. There's a little ball in there. And then bend the top knee, exhale back to center. And let's go ahead and lift our hips up to reorganize our spine and roll on down. Beautiful job. So now let's take our bodies to the side and we'll lay on our side, lay on our arm, and just organize ourselves so that our bottom side waist is lifted. And then we have the legs slightly in front of us. So we're head to tail at the back of the mat. So we'll make sure we've got our top side waist lengthened. You can have spider fingers here. And then bring your top leg up. Bring it forward with a flexed foot. Take it back with a pointed toe. So we'll do 8 here while we're discussing this. And what you could do here is if you had some hand weights, you could hold them up in the air and get a little bit of very subtle like rotator cuff strengthening. So it'd be palm forward and then just holding your weights, and you can feel, even with your arm up, you can feel it, but the weights will give you more feedback. And we keep breathing, doing our single leg kicks, our side kicks, excuse me. And that was 8. And we'll go ahead and rest down for a moment. Yeah, good. And then just recheck in with your side waist. Make sure your side waist is lifted. Okay. Press down into the mat with the bottom leg. Lift the top leg. Your choice of hand placement can be front. You can still have your dumbbell in your hand. And then point your toe, lift your leg, flex your foot, lead down with your heel. So point your toe, lift your leg, flex your foot, lead down with your heel. When you kick your leg up, press down into the mat. And when you lower the leg, try to lower the leg more slowly. So 4, and lower down. And 5, lower down. 6. The lowering down is the one where we get more, it's called time under tension in your muscles. Okay, last one. Good. And then we'll just go ahead. I'm going to place my hand on my hip and just check and make sure I'm stacked here. Lift your leg up to hip height and do 5 small circles in each direction. 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and leg down. Beautiful job. Now let's go ahead and come onto our bellies. Stack your hands flat, and if you need to put something underneath your abdomen, say if you have a spondylolisthesis and it's not good for you to go into extension, or a spondylolysis, it's not comfy, just stick a pillow underneath your abdomen. You can always opt to be on hands and knees as well. Forehead is on your stacked hands if you're down here with me, okay? And we'll go into our single leg kick. So we want to pull the belly up, tighten up our buttocks to imprint the pubic bone, and then kick, kick with one leg, lengthen the leg as you set it back down. Kick, kick with the other leg, lengthen the leg down. Okay, so kick, kick, and lengthen, and kick, kick, and lengthen. And you can keep going there, or we can choose to come up a little higher if that's all right with your back. Pull your shoulders down, look down toward the top of the mat, and then kick, kick, and lengthen, kick, kick, and lengthen. Keep pressing the mat away. I find this is more of a challenge because it's a stretch in the quad, but you also have to organize your upper body when you're pressing into the mat like this. So it's easy to forget to keep pressing down. So we'll just do a couple more on each side. Very good. Okay, and then we'll let that go. Come on down to the mat and just wiggle your hips back and forth. So you can just swing your heels from side to side. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead and place your forearms down on the mat again. Tuck your toes under. Lift your legs. Lift your knees off the mat with your toe pads down. Pull into belly, and then lift up into a plank. Now just hold your plank and breathe. 5 nice long breaths. Inhale. Exhale, pull up into belly, squeeze your booty, pull up your pelvic floor. And 2. And 3. Keep pulling into belly, tuck your tail, make sure you're more in your abs and your back equally. So if it feels like your back is working too much, you can hike your hips up a little bit and help yourself. And last breath. And then knees come down. Go ahead and press back, knees apart, toes together. And we'll move into a wide-legged child's pose. So now we can take our fists and stack them on top of each other. Put your forehead down on your fists. We'll just take 3 breaths here. Good. And then we'll come up and we will turn around to the other side for our side leg series. Now we'll line ourselves up head to tail with the back of the mat. Legs are a little bit forward. Organize yourself so that your side waist is lifted. You can have spider fingers, or you can have your arm up with or without a dumbbell. Okay. Press down into the mat as you lift your leg to hip height. Flex your foot to bring your foot forward, point your toe to bring it back. We're just doing a nice smooth movement today. You know, the form here sometimes will include a little pulse. We don't have to do that. We can do that if we feel like we need the challenge. It's a little stability challenge. It's also working on the fast twitch muscles. So that's a good thing to work on too, just not at the expense of our stability. And 6, 7, and 8. Beautiful job. Rest your leg for a moment. Reorganize, recommit to pulling your waist up. The shoulders are down, corners of the mouth are lifted. And then we'll go ahead and place our arm in whatever position we want. And we'll kick up with our toes pointed. And then flex the foot, lead down with the heel. So the kick up, we press down into the mat with our foreleg. And then lower down slowly. Up lower down. Just keep breathing. Keep thinking about how your waist is pulling off the mat and you're pressing your bottom leg down into the mat. And you're kicking and you're lowering slowly, and you have 2 more. Beautiful job. Good. Then go ahead and take a breath. Lift up your top leg. And we'll do 5 circles in each direction, just small ones. 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful job. Okay, that was fun. Okay, so now let's go ahead and press up to seated. All right, and here's a fun place that we could add some dumbbells in if we wanted to. So I'm gonna just grab mine. You don't have to do it. You can also just hold your arms out. But we'll sit up on our seat bones here and use your hands under your thighs to lift your chest, and then pull up your pelvic floor and pull into belly, and just lean back enough that you feel your belly engage. So we're just like a cylinder here, flat back. Good. And then we can go ahead and extend one leg. So extend one leg and squeeze your thighs together. Yeah. So you can keep holding on. You can bring your arms in front, or if you have your dumbbells, you can do some biceps curls here, right? So, and 4, 5, 6, keep lifting your chest. 8, 9, 10, beautiful job. Hold onto the bottoms of your thighs, bend the knee, pull yourself forward, take the soles of your feet together with your knees apart, and then you just pull your heart forward. So this is a flat back hinge, flat back hip stretch. And then we'll come back to our start position, put our knees bent, hands underneath the knees, roll your shoulders back, pull your belly in, lean back enough that you feel your abdominals begin to work. Squeeze your knees together, extend the other leg. So left leg here, right? You can hold out, or you can also, your arms out, or you can also do your biceps curls. And 3, 4, 5, keep lifting your chest. 7, 8, 9, 10, very good. Grab your backs of your legs, pull yourself forward, soles of the feet together, knees apart. Do a little Baddha Konasana, you yoga fans out there. Take a couple of breaths. So that was fun. I have something that is almost more fun than that for you. So everybody probably extended their legs straight forward, right? So this time we're going to extend the leg in external rotation. So you're probably here, we're going to go here, okay? And do the same 10 count hold. So you can, again, if you feel like this is causing your back to flex when you let go of your legs, just hold on to your legs. Take a breath, pull into belly, your chest is high, pull up your pelvic floor, extend your leg, and then rotate your thigh so that your toes are pointed out. And then choose whether you let go, whether you're doing biceps curls, and we'll do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then grab yourself by the backs of the legs, pull your heart forward, soles of the feet together, lengthen forward to stretch for just a moment. Are we having fun yet? I hope so. Okay, last one. Knees together, hands behind the thighs. Lift your chest, lift the corners of the mouth. Dumbbells or not, extend your other leg, rotate your toes out, squeeze your thighs together, let go if you can, hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful job. Grab your legs, soles of the feet together. We'll stretch forward together. So that was fun. So we're going to go ahead now and roll to one side. I'm just gonna put the weights away, okay? Roll to one side and go onto your back. Now, if you had a TheraBand here that you want to use for assistance, you could put it around the soles of your feet. Without that, I would recommend having your hands underneath your bum for support, okay? Just to start with. Take a breath, exhale, pull into belly, and bring your knees in towards your chest. Now, extend your legs up toward the ceiling. Try to get them straight. And then make sure the back of your neck is nice and long. So we'll keep our thighs squeezing together, lower the legs down just to where you feel your belly engaged, but before your belly pops up or your back changes position, and then bring your legs back up again. Alternatively, if bone density loss or disc issues are not your issue, okay, you can have your head in your hands and be in a little bit of an upper body lift, okay, which generally makes it easier. With the head down and the hips lifted, we need to be careful about how low we lower our legs. So we're inhaling to lower down. It can be tiny. Exhale, press down into your belly to lift your legs. Let's just do 2 more. Inhale and exhale, press to lift your legs up. Inhale and exhale, and then bring your knees into your chest. Beautiful job. Okay, so now we'll take one leg is going to remain bent. The other leg will stretch it out long. Flex your foot, reach your arms overhead, and see if you can just reach through the heel of your straight leg. You're down on the mat, and then gently grasp your wrist on the same side and just kind of do a gentle little side bend. Okay, so you're side bending and stretching and lengthening the whole long side of your body. One more breath here. And then go ahead and just bring everything back to center. The other leg stretches out. We have one leg bent, one leg long. Arms come overhead. Gently grasp the wrist of the same side arm as the long leg. And then reach and see if you can get a little bit more length. Ribs away from hips. Feel like you're reaching your femur bone, your thigh bone, maybe a little longer out of the hip socket. Take one more breath. Good. And then we'll bring everything back to center. All right, very nice. So now let's go ahead and roll to one side and we'll get up. The time for our standing work. We're going to go through our balance drills. So the first thing we do is stand at the top of our mat with both feet directly underneath our hips, okay? So just to find out where we are on our feet, let's just sway forward and back, and see if you can notice like which muscles tend to engage as you move your weight forward, okay? Forward and back, right? And then come back to center and go side to side and see if you can feel the muscles on the side of your hips engaging as you do this. Yeah, okay. So now let's go ahead and just change over to one leg stance. So we're going to shift over to, I'm shifting to my left. I can feel the glute engage. If you don't feel your glute engage, squeeze your booty. And then take weight off the right leg without the hips shifting at all. So they're staying level. If you feel safe to do so, go ahead and lift your right leg. Yeah. And we can have a little fun here and do some leg extensions while we're here. If you feel like you are there with your balance. If you're still focusing on just having a leg up, balancing on one leg, don't add this in. So 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Beautiful job. And then step the leg that was just in the air behind you. Land on the toes. Zip up from pubic bone to navel to sternum and roll your shoulders back. And just see how you can get a stretch in the front of your hip just by kind of tucking your tail under a little bit. Okay. If that doesn't work for you and you need more, bend into the back knee a little bit. And one more breath here. And then we'll go ahead and step that leg forward. Good, and now that becomes the standing leg. So we shift over, engage all the muscles in this hip and glute. Take weight off the other leg. If you feel good lifting it, lift it. If you feel good adding in the knee extensions, add them in. 2 and 3, 4. So I was teaching this last week to one of my in-person classes, and then afterward, the one of the gals in the class can go ahead and pause that, step that leg back, land on the toes, zip up. Sent me an article that her husband had found. So I've been telling you that a single leg stance held for 5 seconds reduces the risk of injurious fall. And apparently there's also more studies out now that say that if you can hold the single leg stance for 10 seconds, it's equated with longevity. So it's a good reason to practice. And then we'll go ahead and let that go. Okay, great. So now hold on to something. So do find a wall for this next thing. So I'll just demo holding onto a wall, because we're going to lift all 10 toes and rock back onto your heel. So you lift everything and you can feel how your weight goes backward, right? So lift and rock back onto the heels. So the whole forefoot lifts, all 10 toes lift. We're going backward. You can understand now why I told you to hold on to something, right? So I would like you to practice balance skills without actually losing your balance. So 8 and 9 and 10. Good. And then this next one will be a little easier for everyone, I think. We're lifting up our heels. So we're going up into a calf raise. So you can stay close to something for balance, lift up, and then go down on a 3 count. 1, 2, 3. And see how easy or challenging that might be for you. Lift up and then lower. 1, 2, 3. Good. Lift up and lower. 1, 2, 3. So the Achilles tendon, which is connected to your calf muscles, its job is to decelerate or slow down. So when we land, right? So, so this is why when you're doing this slow lowering down of the heels, you're actually strengthening that function in the Achilles tendon. So this is a good one too for any kids or grands that might be doing sports where they're jumping and landing, working on the lengthening while contracting phase of the gastroc and soleus and Achilles tendon. One more. Good. And then my favorite, I'm going to stand with both feet hip distance apart, step 1 foot forward, and externally rotate the leg. Now, bend both knees. Now, it's important that we do this movement at the ankle, not the knee or the hip, right? So we're just going to visualize that we're in line and we're just impatiently tapping our foot. Something we'd never really do because it would be rude, right? But it's just fun to think about. So just foot tap to your moving from your ankle joint, and you'll feel the front of your shin beginning to warm up, okay? So the front of the shin is your anterior tibialis, and that muscle engages to stiffen the ankle to help prevent a forward fall. Okay, and at some point you can't tap as fast and it's all warmed up, right? So then you switch legs. Step the other foot forward, it's a little bit externally rotated, both knees are bent, the hips are level, and we're just going to start off tapping our foot. We go pretty fast now, I've been practicing this for a while. So if you can't tap as fast as me, just practice, and you will. So it's important that we get the fast twitch muscles engaged, because falling doesn't happen in slow-mo. I mean, it might seem like it, but it actually, things happen very quickly. And there it goes, it slows down a little bit, the muscles get tired, they warm up, and we're done with that. Perfect. So now from here, roll your shoulders back and down, step back into a split stance, not too narrow, okay? Land it on the toes, zip up, pubic bone to navel to sternum. Yeah, drop your tailbone down, bring your arms out to the side. So this would be a nice place to add dumbbells. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. Good. One more on each side. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. We'll bring our arms down. Lean forward slightly from the waist to release the stretch and step forward. We'll step back with the other leg. Zip up the front line, drop the tailbone down, roll your shoulders back and down. Bring your arms out to the side. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. Good. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. Inhale, rotate. Exhale, center. And bring your arms down. Lean forward slightly to release the stretch and step forward. So I promised you one new thing with physioball today. If you don't have a physioball, don't despair. So the new thing with physioball will be push-ups. And if you do not have a physioball, just go onto hands and knees and do some hands and knees push-ups. So if you do have a physioball, I'm going to have to start way back here in my studio because it's so small, but just lay down on your belly on the ball, and then you'll walk your hands out so that just your pelvis is on the ball, and then tighten up your buttocks and your legs and pull your belly up in your pelvic floor. Now you're a teeter-totter. So have your hands wide with your fingertips pointed a little bit in, and then lower your upper body down and your lower body lifts a little bit and then push back up again. And what I'm showing you is a fairly high fulcrum, okay? So it's really pretty easy, but that's okay for starters. And as you get stronger, you can walk your legs out, your arms out more, you know, all the way out someday to your knees or your ankles, perhaps, as long as you're safe doing that. But see how you're a teeter-totter? So what you don't want is just to have your upper body draping and lifting and lowering like this. That's not really it. You just tighten up everything, and everything lifts and lowers. And when you're done with that, you go ahead and just go walk your arms back and just stretch your back over the ball. And as long as you're not dropping your head, you're safe to do this. The spine's unloaded and it feels really good. So this would be spine safe for osteo as long as the ribs are okay with being on the ball. If you do not have that going on, you could drape more, which is going to be flexion. So that's not going to be osteoporosis, so osteopenia safe. And when we're ready, we'll just go on back and we'll stand up and go back to our mats. We have some time to do some more ab work. So I think that's going to be great. Let's go ahead and go onto our backs again. We'll lay down. Lift and lower our hips to organize our spine. Yeah, that's it. Good. And then we'll just get a few bridges in to organize ourselves. Okay. Yep. I think I already said that. But yeah, just lift up and lower down. Good. And lift up and lower down. Very nice. So now if you had some dumbbells, you could take them up over your chest now. If you don't, just use your arms and just round your arms nicely. And take a breath. As you exhale, pull up into your belly and then bring one leg and then the other into a closed tabletop. So a chair position sometimes is a little problematic for the quads, for the thighs. So if you sit in a chair a lot, just bring your knees in a little bit more, release those tight muscles. Okay, and then we'll open our arms out to the sides. Inhale, and then exhale, hug a tree. Inhale, and exhale, hug a tree. Squeeze your ankles and knees together if possible. And exhale, hug a tree. Good. Inhale, and exhale. One more here. And exhale. If you feel your thighs are really grabbing, put your heels together with your knees apart. Yeah. And then from there, go ahead and just inhale one arm out to the side and exhale. Stay with that one arm. So let's say we'll do the right arm 4 times out to the side. Exhale. See if you can get a sense of your opposite low ab working. to keep you from rolling with the weight of your arm. And last one. And then the other arm goes out to the side. So left arm out to the side. Just do 4 times. Beautiful job. And let's go ahead and bring our knees in, bring our feet down, and give ourselves a little rest in the upper body. Beautiful. So now lengthen both legs, lengthen both arms overhead. And just notice when you bring your arms overhead, your ribs lift. So that's normal. A little arching here, you're stretching is completely normal. Now, when we get ready to bring our arms with or without a weight overhead, we need to be mindful about this tendency to arch and lift. So what we'll do is bring our arms back down, bring our arms up toward the ceiling, set your shoulders down on the mat, and just bend your knees and feel where you are on the mat. Now, when you bring both arms overhead, think about where it is that you feel your ribs lifting. It's usually once you get past cheekbone level. Okay, so just remember where you are with that. Go one more time. Just going to get that range of motion. Good. Now, take a breath. Exhale your right leg up to tabletop. And then extend your right leg and your left arm together. Remember to not go past your cheekbone in the arm and bring them back. Okay, so this is our basic pattern. 1 foot on the floor, 1 arm pointing up toward the ceiling. You can add a little isometric to the inner leg if you wish, either every rep or from time to time. And if you want more, other leg comes up to tabletop so that we have 2 non-moving limbs and 2 moving limbs. We'll complete 1 side at a time. 6. And it's fun sometimes to do this laying on a foam roller, that you would have 1 foot on the floor for sure. At least 1 foot on the floor. 9 and 10. So you can check out a foam roller class for that info. Take your knees in your hands, take your knees around in mirror image circles. Good. And then we'll go ahead and just do the other side. Okay, so we did our left leg and right arm. Now we're doing our right arm. I forget what side we did. Let's just switch sides. Don't think about it too much. So half the time, some of us are on the other side anyway. So we're extending. So the opposite side for my demo is right arm and left leg. So we're mapping from the left low ab to the right rib cage. And we're breathing. We're doing 10. Doing our best to have the non-moving limbs not move. We can add in a little isometric from time to time if we wish. Hand to the inner thigh. And last one. Beautiful job. Grab your knees, take your knees around in mirror image circles. That was nicely done. Good. So let's go ahead now and we're going to flip completely over to our bellies. We're going to get to do our plank challenge next. So we're completely flat. Your arms are beside you, bent in sort of a W pattern. Chin or forehead are on the mat. Chest is on the mat. Pelvis is on the mat. And tuck your toes so that your toe pads are on the mat. Good. And just keep everything flat. So our objective here is to be able to move into the plank without back bending. Okay. So we create the strength before we ever get up. Lift up your knees so your thighs are engaged and your knees are lifted. Your toe pads are still on the mat. Now pull up into your belly. Lift your hips. So now you're on your chest and your chin with the back of your neck long. Now see if it's possible to press into the mat with your forearms and lift up into your plank without back bending. So if that wasn't possible, it's okay. Just keep practicing. You'll get stronger. And if it was possible and you felt like it was easy, Try going from your hands with your elbows already lifted next. That requires a lot more upper body strength. Let's do it one more time. Your choice. Tuck your toes, lift your thighs and knees, pull your shoulders down, pull your belly in, lift your hips. So now just your chest and chin are touching. Push the floor away. Good. And we'll just stay here for a moment. Breathe. Pull up into belly. Look down at the mat. 2 more breaths. Then drop your knees down and walk our knees forward and come into our wide-legged child's pose. Stack your fists on your hands for a moment. Stack your fists on your hands. Stack your fists on each other. Put your forehead on your fists is what I meant to say. So we get a nice back stretch here without going into flexion. When you have your knees apart, you can have your torso in between your thighs. And that way we're also not putting too much pressure on the hip joint, which is good. We need to be careful about the femoral neck, AKA the hip, when we know we have bone density loss. Of putting too much pressure on it in positions like pigeon, for example. One more breath. And then we'll come on up. Good. Let's swing our legs around. Let's go into our final stretches. So shoulders are down the back. Good. Corners of the mouth are lifted. Bring your non-supporting arm up to find length. Your supporting shoulder is down. Take a breath. And then exhale, come onto your forearm. Take a couple of breaths here. Get a nice stretch into the side body. And then inhale one more time. Exhale, use your abs, press away with your arm, come up to your balance. Good, and then hold on to your shin and reach up and over with the other arm to just do a little counter stretch. Breathing is good. And then come back to balance and then gracefully float down. So if you want to stay here and just do the side stretch, go ahead. And if your knee doesn't feel good, go on your back and do a figure 4 stretch. If you want to go into rotation, inhale, open your heart toward the ceiling. Exhale, rotate your belly, pull in your belly and rotate your rib cage. So you get a stretch in the hip that's down. And if this is comfy for you, you can stay here. If you like pigeon pose better, you're welcome to. And if you need less weight on the knee on the floor, you can just go into a figure 4 stretch, which is one ankle on top of the opposite thigh, like I'm demonstrating. Okay. So same area will be stretching. Just a little bit less load on the hip joint itself and the knee. We'll take a couple more nice long breaths here. And we'll inhale to unwind. Exhale, come on up. Let's switch our legs around. Okay. So support shoulders down. Other arm is lifted. We find length. Take a breath. Come on down. We'll take 3 nice long breaths into the side body here. And then last breath, we exhale for abs, press the floor away, grab your other shin, move into your counter stretch. And then come back to balance, gracefully float down and breathe here. So you can choose your options here on your back figure 4, stay here, Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, pull belly in to rotate the rib cage into mermaid. Or if you are a yogi and you need more, just moving into your pigeon, as long as your hip is okay with that. So we take enough time in this stretch that we can really feel the release in the gluteal muscles. Chief among them is the piriformis, but you also have 5 other small glute muscles in the trough between the sit bone and the trochanter, okay, the side of your hip, kind of a trough there. So people often ask, like, where should I be feeling this? It's like, well, you'll be feeling it wherever you're tight, but primarily kind of in the hip area, in the back, kind of in your glute area. But sometimes people will feel this down in the hamstring as well. That's completely fine. You just stretch where you're tight. Let's take a couple more breaths here. And we'll inhale to unwind. Exhale to come on up. Okay, we'll swing our legs around. Now, let's pull our shoulders down and our abs in. Lift the corners of the mouth until I see you again. So great job, everybody.